Hello everyone, I'm Sakurako Tamori. We are all different. We are defined by many things from the moment we are born, including race, religion, color, and nationality. We are also defined by gender. Traditionally, we are divided into two groups, men and women. This is how we have been brought up, to think about ourselves and the people around us as simply men and women. However, in modern society, the traditional division of gender is changing. And this is the main topic of my presentation today, specifically LGBT. To begin, I'll describe exactly what LGBT is and contemporary impressions of it. After that, I'll talk about how people come to realize that they are LGBT. And to close my presentation, I'll give you a message from members of the LGBT community. So far in my presentation, I have already used the term LGBT many times. From my research, I discovered that some of you have probably heard this often in the news or you have seen it on the internet. But perhaps some of you are not completely familiar with the exact meaning. According to my research that I conducted on the internet last July, 83.3% of respondents know about LGBT, including its meaning. 5.4% people have heard this word, but they don't know the meaning precisely. And 11.3% don't know anything about it at all. So before we continue, please let me explain. L of LGBT stands for lesbian and describes women who are attracted by their mind and physically to the same sex. G, gay can be used to describe both men and women who are homosexual. When it indicates men, gay stands for men who are fascinated by the same sex. B, bisexual refers to people who are physically attracted both men and women. T meaning transgender is used to describe people who have gender identity or expression that differs from their assigned sex. Actually, not all transgender people want to change their appearance by surgical operation or administration of hormones. Moreover, people who define themselves as transgender can be straight, lesbian, gay, or bisexual. Let me show you the results of my questionnaire. My first question was, what do you think about LGBT? Most respondents had positive opinions, such as don't care and LGBT is a way to be individual. However, some people said negative things, such as it is difficult to accept. As you can see from this result, LGBT has still not been accepted by society today. To my question, do you know anyone who has come out as being LGBT? 31% of people answered yes, and 67% of respondents said no. Generally, it is estimated that approximately 7.6% of the population in Japan is LGBT. However, I would guess that the real proportion is much higher than this because there are many people who can't come out as being LGBT in modern Japan because they are worried about negative reactions. Consequently, it is possible to call LGBT a minority group. For the question, have you ever considered that you could be LGBT? A massive 87.9% people said no. A much smaller number, 7.9% said they sometimes think about it. Finally, 2.1% said they think about it. I wanted to know more detail about the last group, so I asked, when do you think about it? The answer included when they watch a news story or read an article on the internet about LGBT, or they enjoyed spending time with someone of the same sex more than with someone of the opposite sex. Some mentioned they are big fans of idol groups of the same sex. Some said they prefer to look at members of the same sex when they go out, for example, just walking down the street. Because of situations and experiences like this, some people might begin to notice that they are in fact LGBT. Let's move on to my next topic. I asked people who have come out as LGBT how they first realized their sexuality. First, I'm gonna introduce a person who is transgender and has had sex change surgery. When she was in kindergarten, she understood her sex as a boy, that she was male. Then she started to think she wanted to be a girl. Particularly, she felt she wanted to wear girls' clothes. This was the first occasion. Little by little, she realized the difference between her physical sex and mental sex, meaning physically she was a boy, but mentally she was a girl. As she got older, she started researching the idea of becoming female. At 18 years old, she started female hormone treatment. Recently, she finished the surgical operation of sex reassignment, and she now finally lives as a woman. Next, to people who are bisexual. As I mentioned earlier, bisexual refers to people who are physically attracted to both men and women. First a woman. Being female, she was taught by society to be attracted to boys. However, she started to have particular feelings towards women. When she kissed a girl at the age of 14, she discovered her sexuality. Or perhaps I should say bisexuality. She is equally attracted to both. Next, I'll introduce you to a bisexual man. People around him said he was gay. It led him to consider his sexuality because he didn't know what it meant. However, when he discovered the meaning, he thought it was correct. But he was still attracted to women, so he came out as bisexual. So as you see, some people might choose to be LGBT because of an opportunity presented in daily life. So far, I have talked to you about LGBT. However, there are more groups and minorities that we need to talk about. Have you ever heard of LGBTQ and LGBTQQ? Q has two meanings. One meaning of Q is queer. It is used to show whole field of sexual minorities. It means people who don't correspond to one of the 4 LGBT groups I described earlier, but they are sexual minorities. The word queer usually means strange. However, sexual minority is not strange. They are proud of their sexuality, so they use the word queer. The second Q of LGBTQQ means question. Questioning means those who can't acknowledge their sexuality or know their sexual orientation clearly. Finally, I'm gonna introduce some message to you from 2 people who took part in my interviews. One person said, it takes a lot of courage to come out as LGBT. I revealed that I'm transgender, but I found that I made many new friends rather than losing them. Coming out and telling the people around you that you are LGBT takes courage. And some people might feel uneasy or apprehensive about it. But once you decide to do it, do it. People will accept you for who you really are. The other said, you feel fear and anxiety when you accept your sexuality or you come out. But don't worry, don't push yourself. It takes a long time to figure out your sexuality. The most important thing is that you don't forget who you are. All of you are amazing, courageous, and wonderful, regardless of what others say. It's your sexuality and your life, so you should enjoy them both as much as you can. To conclude, I suggest that LGBT people are everywhere around you. Now, some might worried about people who have a different gender outside of the traditional roles of man and woman I mentioned in my introduction. However, I believe that all of us here today have a chance to be more accepting and supportive of LGBT. We are all the same. For me, It is not important what your sexuality is. I feel that society can be stronger if we can accept each other without prejudice and accept love beyond gender. Thank you for listening.